Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Over the barren wastelands of this barren wasteland table, the demons will be facing off against the Drukhari in this competitive Warhammer 40,000 battle report. Let's begin.
The Dark Kin.
Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report here at the Spire. And today we have Jim.
How's it going?
Good. And he is come all the way up for a game. You've seen Jim on some of the GW streams, and he's been going to tournaments lately and playing fancy people like Nick Nananavanti. Nick Nanavanti. That was what, your third round?
Third round at Nova.
At Nova. And that was a streamed game. Go check it out on the GW site. You had him by the liquors.
Yeah, if you ask him, he doesn't seem to think so.
Yeah.
But,
and then it all went crumbling down.
Yeah,
it
turn
all
three
fell down.
apart. So
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
But it's going to be really fun. You've brought your demons.
Demons, Thousand Suns, and Alpha Legion. So a bit of chaos soup, I guess.
Awesome. And you've got a lot of models. It's a Maelstrom. You're a prospect for the ETC team
That's right.
here in Canada. So we're getting some practice in as well. And you are practicing for
The Michigan GT, which is I'm driving tomorrow, and this will be my first and most likely only practice game.
Perfect. So hopefully we give him a good run for his money. We've got the basic competitive Drukhari army that you've seen me kind of hone over the last 6 to 7 months, versus your list that you've kind of modified a bit to do better at like holding objectives and Maelstrom and stuff like that.
Yeah, the list's evolved quite a bit. In every tournament, I think one unit changes or so, and with the FAQ changes, I made a few quick changes. The Alpha Legion Infiltrate is not as good. Still good, but not as good. And with the changes to how reinforcements arrive and warp time and all that stuff, I feel like, you know, that's a pretty good list for Maelstrom because I can deep strike a lot of my army, which is and a lot of it as well, like big units. So
yeah,
I think
take a lot of board control, things like that.
So I think that's going to work pretty well in Maelstrom.
And you've got a lot of smites in there too, with the longer range from Thousand Suns.
That's right.
So instead of us just chatting about it, let's go over and take a look at the armies. We're going to set up the board, set up some terrain, and we'll get started. Do you have any initial thoughts before the game starts?
No, I'm excited to kill the Dark Kin.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully,
Challenge accepted. Oh, they're all gonna die. Urien just sends them all to their deaths, and then they get regrown in the Dark City.
Yeah.
Awesome. So stay tuned, guys. Leave a comment down below if you haven't already. Click that sub button and the little bell, and a huge shout out to the Patreons to the channel. You guys make this possible. Okay, let's begin.
All right.
Okay, and here we have 2,000 points of chaos and demons. So, Jim, take it away and explain what you have Wrath brought to destroy the Drukhari with.
So this army consists of 2 battalions.
Okay.
The first one is a Chaos Battalion of Demons with 2 units of 30 Plague Bearers.
Yep.
A unit of 3 Nurglings, a Poxbringer, a Sloppity Bilepiper, and a Khorne Demon Prince with the Skull
Super
Reaver
Axe.
Demonic Axe.
Yeah, big nasty axe.
And then I have a Thousand Suns detachment with 2 Demon Princes, armored on foot, 21 Zangors, a unit of 40 cultists, a unit of 10 cultists, and then finally a patrol of Alpha Legion with a Chaos Sorcerer on foot with the Mark of Tzeentch, some Slaanesh Obliterators, and 11 Chaos Cultists.
Very cool. So we're looking at 2,000 points. Look at that. It looks amazing. And this army is absolutely gorgeous. It is painted and modeled with absolute love and dedication for the dark gods. So I'm just going to pan through some of these shots because these are just incredible. And I want to make sure we show them off. Look at that. These are all the cultists. There's like 70 cultists in here. Or 60 cultists or something. And then I like the bright color you picked for your Nurgle Plague Bearers. Very Slaaneshi, which is kind of a cool dichotomy there. The good old Pooplings, the Zangors. Your horrors are pretty cool converted too. you've taken to a variety of different events.
Yeah, they take a lot to get to work with needing the characters, so the Plague Bears are just so good though.
Yeah, Plague Bears, they don't go anywhere, and they're quite fast if you know how to use them properly. Look at that. Cool converted obliterators. Look at that. Object source lighting. Yeah, that looks amazing. And then your Khorne Demon Prince. Wow, with a big axe that kills knights.
He did 29 wounds to a Tesseract Bolt at Battle for Salvation in one round of combat.
Look at that. That's
So
awesome. I love it. Okay, so moving on. Let's take a look at the Drukhari.
Some ETC railings.
Okay, and here we have 2,000 points of Drukhari. So it's all based around a Coven battalion with a homunculus, with a whip, and Urian Rakarth. 2 units of 10 racks with an Ossifactor and Venom Blade in each. A unit of 5 racks with a Venom Blade. 7 Grotesques, and 2 units of 3 Talos, Macroscalpel, Chain Flails, and Haywire Blasters. Supporting that, we have a Cabal of the Black Heart Spearhead with Archon Skari, the Blade himself, with his Venom Blade and Splinter Pistol. 3 triple Disintegrator Ravagers, and to round it off, 1 Razorwing with Disintegrators and twin rifles and its missiles. And then a Supreme Command detachment, Cult of Strife Witch Succubuses. 3 of them. 1 with an Agonizer, and 2 with Shardnet and Impalers. And that is 2,000 points. Leave us a comment down below. We're going to be practicing for the Michigan GT. So let us know what you think will happen.
So we start with deployment. Now, it's always really fun. Deployment is like a game in and of itself, where we both went back and forth, essentially trying to bait out each other with different deployment styles, things like that. And at the end of the day, it was pretty evenly matched as we went in to the beginning.
And deployment is over. Okay, so it's basically table quarters, or what's it called?
Table quarters.
Table quarters, okay. We deployed objectives. There's 1 here, 1 there, 1 in the middle, 1 here, 1 there, and 1 back here. So, yeah. Okay, so there's, yeah, objectives, big blob of stuff. And then he's got 40 cultists in the webway, essentially with Tzeentch and the Obliterators deep striking. He's also got the Zangors that can then just teleport with the gem or whatever. I've deployed pretty much everything. He doesn't have a lot of shooting except for the Oblits, so my Ravagers are back here. So I don't have to put them in the webway. I've essentially just kind of spread out and done over here. He finished deploying first. He's put some Nurglings over here, back here. Sneaky little buggers. Okay, so what are your prognostications? Giant blob, massive demons, Drukhari. Okay, so good luck, sir.
Good luck.
Have some fun. And he gets the +1 to go first. So let's see. Canada! I rolled a 4 and he rolled a 6. Do you want to go first or second? Okay, he wants to try and go first. I might as well, for cinematic purposes, see if I can seize the initiative. Hiya! No, that's a 1. Maybe in Australia. Deneth, I'm telling you. That's a 6. Okay, so moving on to Chaosy Goodness. Turn 1.
Jim starts his first turn by moving and advancing, trying to get up as much space on the board as possible. You know, after all, table quarters are going to be a thing at the end of the game. He starts focusing as much as possible on the unit of Grotesques, slowing them down, stopping from getting stuck into his front line, also making it hard for me to shoot at the front unit of Plague Bearers with a miasma of Pestilence. He's gearing up for a turn 2, turn 3 strike with the Obliterators and the Cultists. So it's a maneuver game right now.
Thousand Suns, turn 1. Well, I mean Thousand Suns, but I mean Demons in Chaos, turn 1. So he's essentially moved up and expanded his zone of control. He, in this mission, you draw 4 cards, and then your opponent gets to make you discard 1 card unless you spend a command point. So he spent a command point, or I would have discarded the only card he could score this turn, which is hold objective 1. He also scored hold objective 2 and 4, which I have in my zone. However, now I get to draw 4 cards, and he does the same. In the Psychic Powers, he basically just psychicked them as much as he could into the Grotesque, killed 1 Grotesque with mortal wounds, and he made them halved movement, and they cannot advance with a Doombolt from Ahriman. Okay, so moving on to turn 1 for the Drukhari.
In my first turn, zoning is my biggest thing. I need to expand the zone, and I'm able to take up almost a half entirety of the board with a good fire and fade and advance with the racks, essentially pushing back the potential advance and charge from the Zangors, the cultists, and stopping his obliterators from deep striking anywhere on the flanks.
Drukhari turn 1. Didn't get any objectives I could do. Essentially just moved out and zoned out over here. This unit of racks fire and faded, so they moved like all the way up the board to zone out the deep strikers as much as they could. And I've essentially just kind of pushed his deep strikers back here if he wants to bring them in. So we'll see what happens. As we go into second turn, he's got kill something in close combat, and his warlord has to be a part of domination, essentially, to get victory points. But if you don't score them at the end of the battle round, you essentially lose them. I'm assuming it's the beginning of the next. So I'm not going to be able to get any points, really. Okay, moving on to turn 2 for the Demons and Chaos.
So it's Jim's second turn. And during his second turn, it's time to really start getting some damage in. So what he ends up doing is he ends up putting an entire unit of cultists on the flank, completely wipes out a unit of racks. But what he's trying to do is create space in that general area in order to push up that flank and force me to redeploy my army. I believe that Jim made a mistake here as he charges in with his cultists, allowing me to really start hammering away at them.
Okay, so turn 2 for Chaos. The Deep Strikers have arrived. The Blitz arrived back here. He moved up, essentially took a lot of area on the board. Lots of Psychic Powers went off. 4 mortal wounds on Uri and Rakath from snipes. A couple of mortal wounds on the Grotesque. The Blitz shot twice, killed one of the Talos and put 4 wounds on another. And then he Veterans of the Long Ward and murdered an entire unit of Racks, and then charged into the Grotesque to essentially move up, further up the board. So he's definitely putting some pressure on with his little Gribblies, opening up areas in the line.
I'm getting rid of what I was...
They're all going to go away anyway. So he scored 1 point, which was no prisoners for killing a unit. He killed my Rack, so he scored a point. So he's 2 points up right now. I have to discard all of these, and now I get 4 more cards. So secure any 3 objectives. Secure objective 1. Defend objective 2, and secure objective number 4. So 4 is back here. Supremacy is only 3. 1 is over there. And I'm going to spend 1 command point to make sure that I'm the one that discards the card. Do I spend it? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of secure 1. I'm going to take defend 2, secure 4, and secure any 3 objective cards. Okay, let's move on to the next turn.
My turn 2 is relatively simple. I have to ignore pretty much his entire army and focus on those cultists. The last thing I want is a giant unit of cultists being tied to traders and me forced to vect it. So I use as much as I can to get some Maelstrom points on the board and to try and wipe out that unit.
Okay, so here we are at the end of Drukhari turn 2. I fell back with the Grotesques. Then I've kind of maneuvered, just moved around, got Uri out of line of sight, and then most of the firing, pretty much all the firing, shot into the cultists, and I killed them. And then they fire and faded to kill the last cultist to get into objectives. So I got 2 points for scoring 3 objective cards. I'm currently defending objective 2, and I scored objective 4. So we're moving on to the third Chaos turn. And what is he going to draw? So he's got 4 cards.
Defend objective 3.
Defend 3, which is around there.
Right there.
Okay, right in the middle of his army.
Big Game Hunter.
Kill something with 10 or more wounds.
Which you don't... Oh, that's all you have, right?
Yeah, no, all these 4 guys right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Behind enemy lines, get somebody completely in my deployment zone. Or 2 units, gives you more points.
Okay, and that's it. Oh, yeah, one more.
Yeah, one more.
Right now.
Okay. Have no enemy units within 6 inches of the center of the board, which is right there. Cool. Are you going to spend a point to stop me from discarding one?
No. I'm going to let you...
So I'm going to...
Right now?
Yeah. Cool. Okay, perfect. So moving on to the next turn.
Jim's turn 3 and he jumps right into action. A well-placed Death Hex and a Khorne Demon Prince run right into the grotesques. A Zangor Bomb moves up with the Dark Matter Crystal. Warp time's closer because of the FAQ. And then we get to combat. However, this happens.
Okay, so we're looking at the end of turn 3 for the demons. They moved up really aggressively. He's killed almost all the grotesques. The demon prince came in and like murdered a bunch of guys. But one grotesque soaked up 3d6 damage hits, which was awesome. And then he made a mistake and activated the Plague Bearers first to kill a rack. And then I interrupted with the Chain Flails and kill 13 of his Zangors that had charged in after warp timing, because in the FAQ they took away the stipulation that if they star on the board they can't be moved again, which is really interesting. So he was able to warp time them up unless they clarify that, but the Chain Flails killed 13 and then they failed morale, so they're okay right now. So he did score...
Well, this is defend.
Oh, okay, so he hasn't scored anything. He's just started to defend objective 3, so at the end of my turn he'll be scoring that. Okay. I do successfully defend objective 2, so I add that to my pile. So moving on to turn 3 for the Drukhari. Okay, and Urien did die, by the way. He got sniped. Those mortal wound sniping powers are pretty cool. So he's got secure objective 3, which is the one that he's defending. Psychological warfare, make you fail a morale test. That would have been cool to have right then and there.
Yeah, finish off.
Okay, secure objective 6, which is that one over there. And last one is behind enemy lines. Get a unit completely within the enemy deployment zone. I'm going to spend 1 CP to make sure that he doesn't get to discard it. I'm going to discard secure objective 3 from the pile.
So apparently I forgot to film turn 3, but look at these pretty miniatures. Jim's army is absolutely gorgeous, world class. But going back to the game, turn 3 saw me essentially move up aggressively and start putting some hurt on the screens so that I could get to his backfield later in the game.
Okay, end of Drukhari turn 3. So what have we done? I basically moved the Grotesque back because they're Death Hex, so they're going to die pretty much if I run them in. I've put a net in here, but she took 3 wounds. I charged the tails into the Khorne Demon Prince, murdered him with macro scalpels, and then 3-pointed that guy there, so he can't fall back. And then I have my witch over here with Blood Dancer, so she's over here in combat, and then I've got my Talos back here as well. I used 2 points to get the Racks out of combat, and I brought them back here. They made a 9-inch charge to kill the 11 cultists here after morale test. The Raisin Jet Fighter moved up, killed with another morale test the other unit of cultists here, and then I shot 6 of these guys down. Even with the Bile Piper, he lost a few to morale, so he failed 4 morale tests, which gives me 2 points. For psychological warfare, I also secure 6 with that succubus, and I also got behind enemy lines. So that's 4 points for me in that Maelstrom turn. Moving on to turn 4. So let's see what happens. We have defend objective 4, which is that one. The Warp of Magnus. Cool. It's a fancy one. Power of the Cabal. Okay, so those are all Thousand Suns ones. And Master the Warp. Wow. Okay, so it seems like there's a couple of warpy ones.
So I will spend a command point to stop.
You're going to spend a command point?
Yeah.
Okay, and it is round turn 4. So do I steal a command point off you? Hiya! I do! So that's my command point for round turn 4. Hiya! So I have 3 now. And we're moving on to the next turn. So he's got a lot of warpy ones.
Yeah, you gotta get a good
A lot of
psychic
psychic phase ones. Okay,
Alright, so-
moving on to the next turn.
So with his main screen stuck in combat, Jim draws some really cool Tzeentch-only Maelstrom cards and just gets so many Maelstrom points this turn, flipping the Maelstrom game into his favor and really starting to put some pressure on me. I'm starting to run out of units to do damage with, and this might come to hurt me.
I could have gotten 8 if,
Okay.
I actually killed the Talos.
So this Talos survived with 1 wound left. As you can see, I've started killing a lot of the Plague Bears. But I did lose a Succubus over there with the net. She died. He got 6 Maelstrom points because there's 1 Tzeentch card where he gets 1 point for every 2 powers he casts, and he casted 9 powers. That was 4 points, and he got Master the Warp for 2. Oh my goodness, so he got 6 Maelstrom points in that turn, which is great. He didn't kill something in the Psychic phase, so he didn't miss out on that point. And the Obliterators over here killed that Razorwing Jet Fighter. So moving on to my 4th turn, we have Secure Objective 2, which is this one back here. This one has given me so many points this game. There is no escape. I have to, a unit that was completely within terrain being killed, which, no. Kingslayer, so killing your Warlord. And my Warlord, which is Archon Skari, has been ordered to help make you fail a morale test, essentially.
Alright.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm not going to spend the CPs. So he's going to get rid of Secure Objective 2. I see. Okay, moving on to Drukhari turn 4.
My plan this turn was simple. I needed to try and take out his Warlord, and I used a crucial Cruel Deception stratagem to fall the Talos back out of combat from the first screen and hide my Rax in the back corner. My plan was to get into the characters and try and kill as many as possible in order for me to start lowering the amount of smites and outwards damage that his army can just hammer at me, even sniping out characters like he did previously with Urien, and that is quite scary.
Okay, so end of Drukhari round 4. Okay, so the Talos Cruel Deceptioned over the screen and then charged in. Armon's dead, the Sorcerer is dead. I've tied up pretty much everything in combat over here. The net's over here as well. And I brought the Warlord down to 1 wound remaining. He survived. But my Talos survived against this Demon Prince with 1 wound remaining. It's been crazy. I made all my charges with Homunculus. The Triptych Whip, the Blood Dancer, not the Triptych Whip, did 12 hits and then did 10 wounds on that guy. And he passed 8 saves. It was crazy. The Racks have hidden behind there. And then the Archon helped with the Fear and Terror, which allowed them to fall back. So I got 4 points for Fear and Terror and Priority Orders Received, which gives me another 4. So I'm 13 Maelstrom to Jim's 10 Maelstrom, and I didn't get Kingslayer, and I did not get There's No Escape. So, moving on to turn 5. 4 more cards. Defend Objective 1. Which is the one that my Racks are behind.
Psychic Supremacy.
Score 1 point if you successfully made a deny, so you can't do that. So yeah.
Discarded.
Ritual Slaughter. 9 enemy models were destroyed by units from your army. You can do it.
That,
yeah.
Technically.
Yep. Supremacy. Any 3 objectives, you get 2 points.
Right.
And
Scour the Skies.
kill something that flies.
Can definitely do that.
Yeah, which is a Talos or anything. Okay, so I'm gonna discard.
You don't have an... Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna discard the Scour the Skies one.
I was like, I have no command points.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Okay, moving on to the next turn. But look at this mess. They just look so cool. They're so nicely converted and painted.
Supremacy, I'd have to control 3 objectives. These guys don't have OBSEC, do they?
They do not. Okay.
So with Death Hex gone, Jim is playing the long game here. He's trying to keep his characters alive as much as possible, get some points, killing some Talos, starts taking out some of the characters, and essentially, because of a well-placed net, he's stuck in combat, and it's not looking too good.
And I will get...
Okay, so, end of turn 5. He got Supremacy, because of some movement here, he was able to get objective secure models there. He has objective secure models back there, and he has he fell back with his Warlord back here. So that's 2 points, and
that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So 2 points for that. Everything else he wasn't able to get.
So I have to defend objective 1, which is here.
Yeah, he's not gonna be able to defend 1 and the other one, so he's gonna have to get rid of those. I was not able to get No Escape or Kingslayer, so they are discarded. And now I get 4 more cards going into turn 5, which are Pain in all its forms. I have to try kill something in both the shooting and fight phases of this turn. If at least 2 enemy units are destroyed in each of these phases, I get D3 points. If at least 1 of these units was destroyed by a Cabal, 1 was by a Witch, and 1 was by a Homunculus Coven, it's D3 plus 3 points.
Wow. That's complicated, but yeah.
Cool. Okay, Big Game Hunter, not doable, so redrawing. Assassinate, kill a character.
Definitely gonna happen.
Yeah.
This turn.
Yeah, if I kill 3 more characters, I get extra points. Mission critical objective, so it tells me I have to secure an objective 4. So if I secure objective 4, I get a point. And the last one will be area denial. Have no enemy units within 6 inches of the center of the board. Okay, which one do you want to get rid of?
I'm gonna make you discard. Let's assassinate.
If I kill
3 or more.
3 characters, I get D2 points.
What do you get if you get this?
Just 1 point.
Just 1 point.
That I could get a few points, but I'd have to kill quite a few different things in different phases. Shooting and in combat.
You're definitely gonna get 1 point here.
I could potentially get...
Yeah, I'll take your assassinate because there's a chance you kill 3 of my characters this turn.
Cool. So 3 characters. He's gonna take away the ability for me to kill the characters. And moving on to turn 5 for the Drukhari.
It could be the end of the game. So I'm playing relatively conservative. I have to try and kill a Demon Prince. I have to try and get the Talos to do as much damage as possible to the units they're in combat with, as well as the Succubus that is stuck into combat there as well. So I'm planning for it to go further, but it's really close with only 13 to 12 Maelstrom point at the moment. So let's see what happens.
Okay, so it's the end of turn 5. And the way this works, we have table quarters that you need to capture, plus Maelstrom, plus victory points maybe, and a couple of different extra points. We'll tally it all up and come back. But I moved up here, killed his Warlord, so I got objective 4. I also controlled this table quarter. I'm contesting this table quarter, that table quarter, and this table quarter is all contested. In combat, I killed the Obliterators in combat, and I killed the... Poxbringer in combat as well, so that gave me 2 points for Pain in all its forms, so that's 3 more points for my Maelstrom. So right now I'm winning on Maelstrom and I've got some of the extra bonus points, but the game could end. So we're gonna roll, and Jim went first, so he's gonna roll to see if the game continues. And the game is over. Good game, sir. We'll come back with a tally and a post-action report.
Okay, and we're back after the battle report, and the verdict is
33-17 for the Dark King.
Hooray! Actually, it's a differential, so there was an 8-point differential.
That's right.
I add that to 25. You subtract it from 25, so it was a 33 to 17. But it's a battle point event, which means that you keep your 17 points.
That's right.
And you add them up throughout the tournament.
That's right. And win-loss really doesn't matter. So
it doesn't. It's about as many points as you can. And it ended on 5. I feel like if it would have gone on...
Yeah, it got a bit of a bigger differential.
A bit of differential. So let's look at the game. Like, you guys have watched it too. Jim, what do you feel was like the turning point in this mission for you?
So for me, obviously, I made, the 3 key mistakes was my cultists. I got a little bit too aggressive with them. My Xanagors, I just didn't activate them in the correct order, which was just getting ahead of myself and not really thinking about it. And then obviously I just didn't screen well enough with my 2 characters and let them get picked off by Talos. So it's just a product of a very tight game and you know, just I guess laziness and not paying attention. So something I just gotta be better at.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, because when you're playing the game, you know, it's very important to you know, just when you do, like, you're looking at your movement especially, and you look at it and go, that should be good enough. You know, especially in a competitive environment, that width that you can fit a base through can mean the difference between winning and losing a game. Especially like armor, like that was Death Hex, that was you know, another Smite, that was a +1 invul save. So let us know what you thought down below. Good luck at the tournament this weekend. It's going to be really fun.
Thanks for the practice.
Yeah, no problem at all. You had me on the back foot. I was kind of worried after those cultists came down and just like nuked the one side of my army.
I think it's a pretty good plan for this to webway them though.
Yeah, I liked it actually.
I like how they're kind of like a cheap version of Guardians. So
it was
with
great.
all the buffs that, you know, they can
hitting on 3s with prescience, and then rerolling ones because they do +1 to wound with Veterans of Long War. Now they can't shoot twice.
No.
But at least you can deep strike them.
Yeah.
So you can get them in someone's face.
I generally find too, like, I want to save that for my Obliterators. So they're coming down turn 2 with probably same turns as my Obliterators, and I'd rather my Obliterators generally shoot twice.
And the Obliterators can probably crack open a transport or get something that's juicy for the cultists to shoot, you know, that sort of thing as well. Well, let us know what you thought down in the comments below. A huge shout out to all the Patreons to the channel. Thanks to you, we get to do these cool, awesome content. Shout out to you, Jim, because it's like 1:30 in the morning. And it's he has to drive home.
That's right.
Thanks a lot. That was really fun.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it. And this is Skari and
Jim
signing off until next time. Skari out.